it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. I'm a UK Stampin' Up independent demonstrator. Today's project is this little Easter basket. It uses the stamp set from Celebration called Blossoming Basket, which has got this lovely big basket and a little butterfly and a tag and "You are loved and here for you." It's gorgeous, it's red rubber. There is nothing to not like about it, and it's huge. I mean, look at this, it's a really good size stamp. So that was the basis for my project. The reason I made it was I'm a member of the local WI, and in fact I'm now on the committee of the local WI, and on Tuesday at our last meeting we had, amongst the fun and games, we had a beetle drive, which is something I've not ever done before, so I really didn't know what I was letting myself in for, but somehow I managed to win, and the prize was an enormous great big Easter egg, which is fine and would be lovely if it wasn't the fact I don't eat chocolate, and my husband had told me only a few days earlier that he didn't want any more chocolate for Easter because he was still eating the chocolate left over for Christmas. So I said thank you very much, but no thank you. However, they also passed around a box of mini Easter eggs, including various colours, which included Flirty Flamingo and Emerald Envy. So I did claim 2 of those purely so that I could use them in a project. And this is the project that I've come up with. So I've stamped the image in basic grey, so it's a softer image, and then I've coloured it in. I mean, obviously I'll show you this. I've coloured it in using Stampin' Right markers. Bit of grosgrain ribbon round the handle, obviously lots of fussy cutting, and then a little butterfly, and then a box in Peekaboo Peach with some Ready Shreddy, which is in the Spring Summer catalogue, which is here from the, what do they call it, Sweet Soiree, Cake Soiree, Sweet Cakes, Sweet Soiree Sweet, and it comes in Berry Burst, silver and white, which is lovely so long as those are the colours you want. Well, actually they call it dark pink, but it's Berry Burst. But I wanted Flirty Flamingo and obviously Emerald Envy. So I have sprayed this using rubbing alcohol and our re-inkers, and I'll show you how I did that with the Emerald Envy version, which I'm actually using the silver, but I'm going to spray, because the silver comes, let me show you, the silver comes with a white backing. So it's white on this side and silver on this side, and I'm hoping that because I'm using rubbing alcohol it will work. We'll soon find out. I'm only going to do a little bit, so that if it doesn't work I've still got some near me that I can use for the inside of the box. I'm actually going to do this first, because even though it's rubbing alcohol, it will need a little bit of time to dry, but because it's rubbing alcohol it shouldn't take too long. So I'll just clear my decks a bit. So I filled a spritzer. These come in 2s, so Stampin' Spritzer, and you get 2 of them. They're in the annual catalogue, and of course, you know, it would be useful if I could tell you roughly how much they are, because they are great for things like this. They're also great for brushos, for spraying water with brushos. So let's see, tools. I don't know if it's under tools or colouring tools. It may be under colouring tools. Yep, I think it's going to be under colouring tools, hopefully. Pum pum pum, pumpity pumpity pum. Aqua paint. There we are. Spritzers, £2.75 for 2. Absolute bargain. There they are. £2.75 for 2. They are amazing, as you're about to see. So it has got just a little bit of rubbing alcohol in it, and then I've got the Emerald Envy re-inker, so I'm just going to pop that out, and it might have been sensible if I'd actually give it a shake, and then try not to get this on me, because Emerald Envy is not a great colour on me. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. 5 drops, and a bit. 5 and a bit drops of Emerald Envy. I don't mind if it's, you know, just a hint of. There that's fine. See if I can get that down a bit. And then we'll give it a good shake. Oh gosh, that's going to be quite Emerald Envy. And then all you do is spray. You do have to sort of get the pressure up, and then, as I say, just spray. And with luck, because as I say, this is rubbing alcohol, do make sure that if you're sensitive to smells, that you use this in a well ventilated area, because it does smell quite bad. It smells very much of, surprisingly, rubbing alcohol. Right, I'm just going to find a pair of tweezers so that I can move that around a bit. And then if I pop that away from the worst of the spray, just try and get a bit more of the white covered. But if I bring it over there, then hopefully by the time we need it, that will be kind of dry. So, just grab a cloth and clean my tweezers. Right, okay, so I have already stamped and cut out the basket, because seriously, you do not want to watch me doing that. So I have got from the Soon to Retire, Peekaboo Peach, Emerald Envy and Flirty Flamingo, and from the Not Soon to Retire, Powder Pink and Lemon Lime Twist. Yes. Right, so all I have done is just take the markers and just basically put some kind of shadow in. You can spend a bit more time on this in the privacy of your own home, but for the speed of the video, and because frankly there are some more exciting things to do with your life than watch me colouring. So now I'm doing this on shimmer white cardstock, A, because I like it, B, because it's great for colouring, and also it means that I can then move the ink around a bit more than I would if it was Whisper White. So because it's the shimmer white, I can actually come in with my powder pink and be a little more, not aggressive, because you don't want to be aggressive with your markers, but I can actually work it in a bit more, so I can soften the edges of the Flirty Flamingo. You still want to give it a reasonable amount of respect. It is not watercolour paper. So it will eventually pill if you get too carried away, but you do have a bit more wiggle room with it than with the Whisper White. Now, I did stamp this some wee while ago, because even though it is a waterproof ink, the basic grey, and even though it's grey not black, you do want to make sure that it is properly dry before you come in and colour. Otherwise, you will find that it will smudge, and that's not a good look. Now, in the previous version, I treated these as leaves, and actually thinking about it, shall I do that again? Yes, I will. You could treat them as flower buds, but I think they look more leaf-like. And because I'm going to be using Emerald Envy in the basket and as the ribbon, I want a bit more green than pink. So Emerald Envy on the leaves. This is not naturalistic. Let's just accept that. It's just for fun. You can go back in with, again, and your lighter colour and just soften that a bit if you want. Also changes the colour a bit, but there we go. And then for the basket, I'm just going to accept that we don't, because I don't want to use too many sets of markers, because although we're in celebration, I want to be conscious of people's pockets. So I'm using Peekaboo Peach. You could use, if you've got the markers, you could use crumb cake, that would be lovely. You could also use your blends, but because I wanted Emerald Envy and Flirty Flamingo, those are not colours we've got in our blends, on the subject of which, do remember I've just launched my Blends Club. So if you want a budget for your blends and get some free bits, that's probably something you should look at. There's a link in my blog below. If you go over to my blog, there's a tab for the Blends Club. So just click on that and you'll get all the information. You can join at any time, and you get free stuff each month that you sign up. And if you sign up and do 3 consecutive months, then you will also get a free stamp set in your 3rd month. So it's a nice way of getting a little bit extra for your money. So that's that. Now I also need the butterfly. So I have my butterfly mounted up. I've got my basic grey, and then I'll stamp this, and then we'll leave that for a moment whilst we make the box, because obviously I should have done that earlier. Right, so let's pop those aside. So the box is basically just a little sort of not quite square box. I have done it for the scoreboard, so it is in inches. Sorry, those of you that work in metric. So the final dimensions are 1 1/4 by 1 1/2 by 1 1/4. My cardstock, which is Peekaboo Peach, is 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. So with the 4 1/4 at the top, you want to score at 1 1/2, because that is the depth of our box, and you want to score at 2 3/4. Then turn it round and score at 1 1/4 and 2 1/2. And that is all you need to do. You can of course do that on your trimmer. I will try and work out metric sizes before I post, just so that those are there. Obviously it will be different dimensions, but I will try and work that for you. So that's all burnished. Now this is the height. This is in effect scrap. So this is what's going to wrap round. So we are going to wedge in these 2 squares, because these are actually squares. So I'm cutting down the rectangle and into the square, and down the rectangle. And by down the rectangle I mean put the score line away from the rectangle. So I'm going to cut to the rectangle side of the score line, if you like, and then cut the score line away like that. Yeah, do that on the other side. So down the score line, cut away the score line. Always useful if you do actually cut it away. Down the rectangle, cut away the score line. Now I have recently set up my Crafty Hangout, so Old Stables Crafty Hangout on Facebook, and everyone tells me how much they enjoy getting weather reports. So here's the thing, I'm filming this on Friday, what date is it? 16th of March, at which point it's a nice sunny day. I'm not having to wear too many layers. It's quite warm. It's in double digits in centigrade. However, tomorrow apparently it's going to be bitterly cold again and snowing. So, and I think by the time you see this, it will have been snowing. In fact, it might even be snowing on the day. Right, sorry. So, fast fuse on the squares, and then those just fold round and fold round, and then these 2 flaps you're going to put more fast fuse on, and they then wrap round, and this will be the front. So the piece that I'm working on now will be the front of the box. So that just wraps round there, and you just line it up. Can I just say that although I've got to sort the lighting out, I much prefer my new tripod because it's only got one leg. So all of this is open. It's lovely. It's so much easier to work in. Wish I'd done it sooner. Right, okay, so I'm going to just get some Wink of Stella and just, even though this is shimmer cardstock, you can't have too much. Oh, you can get a new Wink of Stella apparently. It's running out a bit. You can't have too much bling, so I thought we would put a bit of Wink of Stella on those. And then let's grab some Emerald Envy. Ooh, almost the end of my Emerald Envy ribbon. Probably that much. So we've got that ready. The butterfly has flown away. Oh, there it is. Now, because I'm using Emerald Envy this time, I'm going to colour it in a very unbutterfly colour. Well, actually, maybe it's more butterfly colour than the original, which is going to be Emerald Envy and Lemon Lime Twist. It's not naturalistic. Why am I worrying? It's not naturalistic. Gosh, we're on 16 minutes already. That's ridiculous. It's only a little bag. So there we go. I suppose I've shown you lots of techniques, haven't I? Right. And that I'm just going to very quickly cut out. Let's get rid of some of the extra bits. So yes, do remember Celebration. If you spend £45 before shipping, you get a free item from the Celebration catalogue. And remember, we've had a second release and now a third release, which includes some items from the catalogues. So if you have a look at my blog and go to the catalogues page, you will see details of those. And they include the glimmer paper from Myths and Magic, all sorts of things. The only thing to remember is that you must use the Celebration code from that Celebration leaflet. And as I say, it's on my blog. You can download it from there. Because if you don't use that code, you will end up being charged. Just saying. Right. So yes, for every £45 you get to choose that. Actually, this isn't going to be the front, it's going to be the back, because we can cover up the seams. So let's cover them up. So I'm using Tombow because I can then pop my basket on and make sure that it's properly attached. Cover myself in Wink of Stella, which is fine. Right, okay, so to do the bow, I'm going to still do one of my double bunny ears. So I've just looped it through and then I've made 2 loops with my ribbon and then I'm tying those 2 loops in a half knot. It is a really easy way of doing a bow if you're just tying it either in midair or round something that, you know, isn't terribly fat. It won't work, it doesn't really work on a, if you're tying it in anger. It can. We used to call it an Auntie Betty bow because my Aunt Betty used to tie shoelaces that way. But for something like this, it's a great way of getting a really nice, neat little bow that you can play with. So yes, just trim those ends. I want that one a little longer actually. There we go. And then I'm going to grab a glue dot with my pokey tool. So one glue dot, back of butterfly and onto the bow. So that's all cute. Then some rhinestones, which I've been colouring with blends, so they look a bit tatty, but they're fine. The piece of paper looks tatty, not the rhinestones as such. So I'm just going to put a rhinestone in the middle of each of my flowers. And happily there are 3 of them, because I like odd numbers, as you know. Right, moment of truth. Yay, it's sort of dry. Yes, ish. So, as you can see, we've now got Emerald Envy. It's not 100% dry, but you know, you could leave it for longer. We've got Emerald Envy on one side and Silver on the other. So we'll pop that in there, find our egg and bury him, or her, who knows what it is, it, in Ready Shreddy. And there we are. So let's bring in the other one. There we are, one Emerald MB and one Flirty Flamingo. Little basket. Couldn't be easier. Bit of time, but other than that, easy. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you need any products, it would be lovely if you would be able to shop with me. It helps me bring more videos. I am aiming for Greece. I think it's unlikely that I'm going to get the incentive trip, but if you don't aim for these things, you never get them. So I am aiming for Greece, and the more you spend in my online store, the nearer I get to Greece. I think at the moment I'm probably somewhere near Southampton or Dover. But I do need a little bit more, well, quite a lot more. Anyway, if you want to join the Crafty Hangout, there are, if you go to my Facebook page, which is linked below, there will be links to that there. If you want to look at any Pinterest or any of those things, all the links for that are also linked below. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. If you don't subscribe to my mailing list, there's a form for that at the bottom of my blog post on the web version. And if you're in the UK, not a demonstrator, and you're over 18, if you sign up, you'll be entered into a free draw for a craft kit, which I will draw at the end of April. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.